who were born with it. And you can just see the last bits of it in my hand. And basically it means you'll have an oversized finger. Macrodactyly just means big finger. So I've had 6 corrective surgeries to try and make sure I had a functional hand. And I've learnt to play harp in a different way, and I've commissioned a flute so that my stump gets a note again. We had a really nice day, a nice morning, and the students and teachers came to listen to us, and each person said a bit more about their story and introduced their instrument, played a tune, and we played something all together at the end. And then we basically had a kind of a show and tell time. Anyone could come up to any musician and have a go at the instrument, have a look, have a chat, take a selfie. I hope in 10 years that we have done several more brilliant gigs and made, you know, a few albums. That would be great fun. I've been on board this project called Ethno, which basically gets young people together throughout. It started throughout Europe, but now throughout the world. So it means you end up learning everybody else's traditional music, which is great fun. So last summer in Croatia, I was hanging out with Swedes and people from Belgium and France and Chile, away from South America, and kind of loads of different musicians, Portugal, England, Ireland. It's grand.
Tom has played, studied and shared stages with US blues guitar master Waddy Mann, Australian classical guitar master Craig Ogden, and US slide guitar genius Debashish Bhattacharya and UK pedal steel king BJ Cole. He performs as a solo artist, have a duo with a band, or indeed, as 2014 saw in Qatar Opera House, as a soloist in a unique orchestra. And Tom ignores boundaries, whether folk music gathering, hardcore blues enthusiasts, jazz or acoustic audiences. Tom had to reinvent a way to play guitar after a serious injury in 1974 left him with limited use of his hands, frustrated as hearing music in his mind, which he could not physically produce on his instrument. Tom felt there was no other choice than to discover a route back to being a musician, pouring out of his creativity and ability to solve issues. Tom's sensitivity of touch allows him to pull every ounce of emotion from instrument, as if he has somehow become one with the guitar. Composer, music director, creative arts facilitator, multi-instrumentalist, and music publisher. Adrian has many guises. In 2008, he performed his own publishing company, Musicopia, through which he provides media compositions and production services. Over the past 30 years, his work has helped pioneer the integration of world music performance traditions and styles in mainstream media productions. Since the early 90s, he has developed these interests in various community and education-based creative arts projects designed to integrate the compositional and performance input of participants of all ages and abilities.
Well, I joined in 2012 with the project that really began the project, the British Paraorchestra project, and that was for the Paralympics in London in 2012. So I joined right at the beginning. I haven't heard Bahraini music yet, except, no. I did actually hear some music in the hotel on the first night that we came. It was great music. Lovely keyboard player and a singer, a lady, who's obviously very, very talented. I have met in the past, when I've been working in Cairo, I met with Kuwaiti musicians who happened to be also performing with the Egyptian musicians who we were playing with. So I guess music from the Gulf isn't entirely unfamiliar. I mean, the prospect of actually playing with some Bahraini musicians in the future would be wonderful. And we have met one or two people on our travels who are really keen to play with us. So, you know, let's hope for the future. I have to say, with the electric guitar, now that's my instrument at the moment. I write music for theatre and for TV, but with the electric guitar, you know, it's an interesting instrument. I actually studied classical music, and really through working in composition, especially for TV, I became interested in the potential of the electric guitar. And we have many, many really interesting players, but not in the classical tradition in the West. So we have wonderful musicians like, for example, Jimi Hendrix, who's an American musician but lived in London, a big influence on lots of people of my generation. So I've also worked with a very dear friend of ours in Bristol called Adrian Utley, who plays with a band called Portishead, and he's one of my regular collaborators at the moment. What I see for us, I guess, in the next 3 to 5 years is that we'll be increasingly doing more and more concerts. I think the pool of players will also grow, and I think we'll be working on new projects as well. One of the things that we do as a group, obviously, is to create new music as well as perform music that's already been composed. And I think that's one of the real strengths of the orchestra, is that the musicians have both the ability to play their instruments, but also they can also create and improvise as well. So there's lots of areas in which we hope to take it in future. And of course, it'd be lovely to come back and visit Bahrain in future and bring our whole orchestra here, but also to work perhaps with some Bahraini musicians. I think the welcome's been absolutely brilliant here, and I mean, I guess there's nothing else to say other than thank you so much for your welcome.
Oliver Cross is a 19-year-old harmonica player and lives in Cambridge. He is currently a BA photography student at Cambridge School of Art at Anglia Ruskin University. Oliver plays in a band with his brother and other local musicians. He joined the British Paraorchestra when he was 16, and he has performed with them in Qatar and the UK. The harmonica is a complex and multi-purpose instrument that can be used in all musical styles, and Oliver has performed blues, jazz, folk, rock, and classical music. He loves breaking down musical barriers and demonstrating that the harmonica is a serious musical instrument. Oliver was born with severe talipes in both feet, for which he has had a series of operations, and also he has Asperger's syndrome. Born in South Wales, Lloyd Coleman studied composition at the Royal Academy of Music until July 2014. He is now developing a freelance career in writing and performing as a clarinetist. Lloyd began his orchestra training in the National Youth Orchestra of Great Britain. Nowadays, he complements his writing commitment with frequent performances of a new music written by other composers. Since 2012, he has been a member of the Paraorchestra. Alongside his music making, Lloyd holds an interest in broadcasting about subjects. He is a creator of Taking Notes, an online music show in which he interviews and promotes fellow young musicians. Encouraged and praised for his natural style of delivery, Lloyd continues to expand its format and audience.
As a band, we have lots of different kinds of musicians in the group. I think that's one of the special things about the group. We have guitar players of all kinds. Tonight we've got an electric guitarist, and we've got a slide guitarist and an acoustic guitarist. So even there, just in those three players, you've got a whole range of musical experiences and composers and bands and types of music that they bring to the table. So I think what we try to do is to bring all of those very different musicians into one kind of big melting pot. So one minute we could be doing something that's quite minimalist and quite contemporary classical, and then another we could be doing a Glenn Campbell song. You know, it's really that diverse. We did have a workshop at St Christopher's School, which we really enjoyed. That was on our first morning in Bahrain, and we told them a little bit about what we do and told them a little bit about our own musical experiences. And I think part of the Paraorchestra's musician is to educate people in improving really that disability need not be a barrier to music making and to success in that area. It's just that people need the right opportunities and the right adjustments made. So we hope we could sort of share that with them, and it was really nice to meet the students and the teachers, and we hope as well that later on in the year we'll be able to bring all 28 members of the Paraorchestra back to Bahrain. In terms of music making, I must say personally I have been quite fortunate in that I've had lots of opportunities afforded to me by my music teachers and by my colleagues, but I know that I'm one of the fortunate ones in a way, and many of my colleagues in the Paraorchestra and outside of the Paraorchestra have faced difficulty, because of their disability. In my case, it was easy because, or easier to overcome my hearing impairment and my visual impairment, because my parents never saw it as a problem for me, and they helped me overcome that, by enlarging my music and by giving me hearing aids. And because I've had those tools given to me, it means I've been able to, fulfill some of my potential. Music therapy definitely can support children with special needs, but I'd go further than that, and music is not it's not only a tool as a sort of therapeutic tool, but as we are trying to prove with the Paraorchestra, it's also a tool and a way in which musicians with disabilities can express themselves and do so on a platform and in an arena which is a professional music making environment. Our aim would be for the Paraorchestra not to exist, because of course our mission is to show people a way in which disabled musicians can enter the mainstream, as it were, and to show people that these musicians exist and we exist, and we want to have the same opportunities as everyone else. In 10 years' time, I hope that we have more members of the Paraorchestra. I hope we have more Paraorchestras around the world as well, and that's why it's called the British Paraorchestra, because it's only, we hope, one of many Paraorchestras who can help us on this mission. Thank you very much for having us here in Bahrain. We've enjoyed our time, and we hope to come back again soon.
Yesterday at the reception, I was very impressed. It was amazing. I even took, with my phone, I took a small video, and it's amazing because it was small. It's a small orchestra. It's very difficult to, especially the harp. It was amazing, and I really enjoyed it. There was a big crowd yesterday. It was very, 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 I was impressed, really. Well, that's a great initiative, because how I came in contact with them, because it was another was an artist, Rachel, who is a painter, and she's disabled as well. She's almost blind, and she does some paintings with children and who are, blind children, and like that, and that's how I came in contact with the British Council, and I got to know about this. And right away I said I really like to come, and my husband arrived yesterday. I said, you have to come on time for this event. So, you know, the Paralympic, I lived in London at the time of Paralympic. It was amazing. It was a huge event. I mean, it was just, I think that's one of the things. It was opening the way for the disabled to be accepted or being appreciated, not accepted, appreciated much more than before. So Paralympics in London, I think that was the opening of this road, and they're much more positive. At least in England, that's the way I felt. And here, of course, this is the best way. This is the best way to bring them to different countries, places that still is taboo maybe for disabled people. And this is a great start. I don't know if in Bahrain you have had before, but this was a great. I know that Rachel, the lady with the painting, she was doing last year. So it is that Bahrain is receptive, and they have been she was very much enjoying.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how how it works out. I'm looking forward for this evening, and I'm following my wife, and the interest is, of course, to see how they have developed the music, and I think this is going to be like a very interesting evening. So hopefully everything will go well, but I'm pretty sure on that. Actually, I think that's. I think you have to have a different view on things in life. The same with the Paralympics and so on, which is getting more and more of interest. So I think the disability is not the same. It doesn't have the same view as